And we are recording on Framing New Heights. All right. Welcome. Let's go in three, two. Oh, no. There we go. Here we go in three, two, one. Welcome to another episode of Framing New Heights. My name is Michael Hicks. I am your host with the most. We've got an incredible story that we get to share with you today. It's part of our interview series. I am with Crystal Wise. Crystal Wise has not only almost broke the record of 200 pounds loss. She is still on that track to get that, and we'll get more into that a little bit later. She is also an educator by trade. And not only that, Crystal also has had the opportunity to work with my Live to Thrive program. So she is a graduate of that program as well. Please welcome the one and only Crystal Wise. Crystal, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Normally I'm coaching you and telling you about mindset and
Yes.
here's what we're doing and all that fun stuff. But today we're going to share your story because I think it's a beautiful one, and it's one full of resilience in it. And not only that, but also vibrance. And gosh, you're a brand new person. And I just kind of want to tell everybody that's listening out there, and I just looked at the statistics today. We are streaming in 8 different countries right now. So what's going to be so amazing about this, Crystal, is that your story is going to be heard. And I really want them to know, because I got the luxury of having you number one as a client, but you did some work on your own.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about, first of all, when I say to you, who is Crystal Wise? And tell us a little bit about your journey with health and fitness. And tell us a little bit about you. Go ahead.
Sure. Like you said, I'm a teacher. I've known since I was in 4th grade that I wanted to be a teacher. My 4th grade teacher inspired me to be a teacher. So it was never a doubt in my mind I wanted to do that. I've been born and raised here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. And when I was 23, I got a job at a health club here called the Sports Corps, and they offer personal training. And I was having some, I was just constantly thirsty, constantly urinating, really tired all the time. So I made an appointment to go to the doctor, and they did some blood work, and I had to do fasting blood labs. So when you fast, your blood sugar should be between below 100 or so. And if it's, in the 100 to 120 range, you're pre-diabetic. My fasting blood sugars after fasting for well over 12 hours was almost 400. So they were like, if you just fasted for 12 hours and it's 400, they don't even want to know what it was before that. So I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. So I'm 23 years old, and they're going over all these statistics. Or, you can have what is it, your kidneys, your liver, you can have organ failures, you can lose limbs, there's going to be blood flow. So here I am, 23. I've always been an overweight person. So I knew I was overweight, and they're like, you're going to need to lose weight. So I'm an all-in type person. So I go all in and I start losing weight, and I take classes, and then they're like, oh, we need a little bit more. So I had to start giving myself shots, and I lasted, I would say, a month or two. And as a 23-year-old, all I wanted to do was go out with my friends, and I didn't want to have to give myself shots. I didn't want to have to worry about it. So I stopped doing everything I was doing. And I think my wake-up call was going back to the doctor, and I lied and was like, yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. My numbers did not say that whatsoever. When you do a A1C, it should be in the 4 to 5 range. Mine was a 9 point something. So it was higher than it was when I was diagnosed. And he was like, you're not doing anything you were supposed to be doing. Your numbers don't lie. And he straight up told me that if I didn't do something and I continued down the path that I was on, I was 23. He's like, you might not live to see your 30s or very far into your 30s. You're just that unhealthy. Walking upstairs, I would be out of breath. We had dogs, I didn't take them for walks. It was a wake-up call. And eventually he told me, My doctor straight up told me, he says, "I think you just need to have gastric bypass surgery. I don't think you can do it on your own."
Wow.
So after that, like I said, that was in around April. So it was like 13, 14 years ago around that it happened. And and then that August, I started working at the sports core and there, so you see these people working out and listening to what they were saying. And for my 24th birthday, my grandma bought me my first personal training package with a trainer at the sports core. And I haven't stopped working out since. So I always told my grandma, she's not here anymore, but that was one of the best gifts anyone gave me because it also gave me a belief. Like I knew my grandma loved me and believed in me, but it gave me a belief that she believed in me enough to pay that money for it. And she bought me a couple more along the way, but it was kind of like the push that I needed.
That's an amazing story. How old were you at that age when you got that membership from grandma?
She bought it. I distinctly remember my first training session was February 7th. So I was 23, but my birthday was February 10th. So I had my second one, like my second training session. So it was like a 24th birthday gift.
That's
So
remarkable. And tell everybody how old, if I can ask, how
yeah,
old you are now.
I am 37. I just turned 37.
So let me kind of paint the picture for everybody. Crystal has lost now, and I ultimately I cannot take all the credit, but she did lose 20 pounds, which she was on my Live to Thrive program within a 90-day process. However, she's lost nearly 200 pounds for those of you that are listening. The exact number is like 175.
Yes.
Now, Crystal went through my Live to Thrive mindset program, which incorporated mind, body, and soul. So we really kind of hit all of those parameters. And now, after you got done with the program, you were like, Michael, I want to continue my body journey, my
Hmm.
transformation journey, and you signed up again to
Yes.
work with me. Let me ask you, what you kind of broke it down a little bit. Talk to me about your mindset when you're and and and
Yeah.
I'm going to go in a little bit because you were one of my clients and we've talked about this, but being an overweight person,
Oh,
struggling getting upstairs. I remember on a few calls you had even talked about how you still have traumatic experiences from how people treated you
yeah.
because of what you looked like and what you weighed and how you felt.
Yes.
Was that negative traumatic event, did that transpire? What happened? Maybe break down for everybody what was the real reason why. Go ahead.
Um, I think there was a bunch of traumatic things. I have always been an overweight person. So elementary school, middle school, high school, you hear those stories where like people ask people out as jokes. I was one of those girls that people would ask me out as like a joke. So just already not having that self-belief and confidence in yourself and then having people ask you out as a joke, and there maybe might have been some genuine people in there, but as being asked out as a joke, you just say no all the time because you're like you don't know if they mean it or not. So it was that, it was like walking upstairs was too hard, it just was like the bullying, the constant. I I just had no belief in myself. All those negative thoughts that you talk about in your program where you have to change them, like I was constantly telling myself, you're fat, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you can't do this. And I had a trainer at the sports court, Rodney. He was my first ever trainer, and he was the person who started to put that like spark in me that I could do things. That every little thing I would do was an accomplishment with him. And it was, you survived your 30-minute session, or you just lasted 30 seconds longer than you did last time. That's huge. You're going to build on that. And you always talk about stacking your wins. Well, that's what he was doing. I didn't know it then, but that's what we were doing. We were stacking the wins. You lost, sometimes people are like, I only lost a pound. Well, a pound, like that's weight loss. That's something. And those pounds add up over time. So it was his belief in me. It was seeing my body start transforming. I definitely, my mindset has always been very bad, like terrible. And I really truly don't feel I've never been in as good of a mindset or being able to take things that happen or spin things to positive after I've done your program. Like my mind is like the best frame that it's been in now. I know that's how I'm going to reach my goals of like the weight, like the goal weight that I want, hitting the 200 pounds, because you see it all the time that if your mind isn't there or you're not like, it's going to not, you're not going to make the progress that you want. And I've done therapy for like this and like boundary issues and all that stuff. And two things that stuck with me the most from her was, I will admit that I was addicted to food. And she said being addicted to food is the hardest addiction to break because you need food to survive. She's like, people who are addicted to gambling or cigarettes or drugs or any of those things, you don't need those things to survive. So you can quit them cold turkey and never have to think about doing them again. You can't quit eating. You need food to survive. So it was learning how to have the correct food and not eating my feelings. And the second thing she said was, the best investment you're ever going to do is in your health. So whether it's therapy, whether it's personal training, whether it's like all of those things, she goes, you pay for it now or you pay for it later. And I've heard that so many times on other podcasts that I've listened to or other like books that you read, and you really think about it. And it says, so you pay for personal training now, or you pay for your Live to Thrive program now, or when you're old and you can't walk, you can't move, you're paying those medical bills, you're paying for someone to help you. And I didn't realize that, I would say, till a couple years ago. I'm like, that is so true. I either pay for it now or I'm going to pay for it later. And when you pay for it later, it's going to be 10 times more and 10 times like harder than paying for it now.
That's so beautifully said. I just recently had another recent interview that's going to get released with actually personal trainer out of Florida. She's a competitor, a body figure competitor, and VH1 star. But regardless, I heard you distinctively talk about a coach, a mentor,
Yes.
a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
How valuable was that for you? Tell us. Yeah, go ahead.
100%. If I wouldn't have I've had a couple of trainers, coaches, teachers, whatever you want to like call them over the period. But if it wasn't for Rodney starting and believing in me, and then if it wasn't for Elliot working with me, and now you, I know for 100% I would not be where I was today, because I remember the first thing you ever said was, does Kobe Bryant have a coach? Does Michael Jordan? And I said no, because I was like, and you said yes, because even the greatest have coaches. Like coaches need coaches, people need coaches. And it's so true. And if it wasn't for any of those coaches to guide me, show me what to do, like help me correct my form, know what to do if they're not there, I was almost 400 pounds. And I know I would still be that almost 400-pound person who was miserable and unhappy. And I would eat my feelings and I would go through the motions of life or the day, but I wasn't fully happy or satisfied, or I was thinking about when my next meal was. And I'm not joking when I say I used to eat McDonald's, breakfast, snacks, lunch, dinner. Like they probably knew me there. I would order, like, I'd go in there and get their, what was it? I don't even remember. There are 2 sausage like burrito meals with the hash brown, and then a side of a sandwich with a large Coke. And then I'd go back for a snack and I'd get them a chicken, a double cheeseburger, a fries, and a Coke. And then I go for dinner. And of course, I'm still eating food in between there. And when I sat down and I thought about it, I can't even, if someone told me, I'll give you $1 million to eat how you used to eat, I don't think I could do it, because of just how like unhealthy it was, and all of the, I don't want to say but the food, like the terrible things that I was putting in my body willingly all the time.
I think what it comes down to is you now know the value. You love yourself.
Yes.
You love yourself even more now than you ever have before.
Yes.
And that's a product because we love ourselves by how we treat our body.
Mm-hmm.
We love ourselves by what we're putting into our mouth, what we are feeding and even listening to, for that matter.
Yes.
So, Crystal, let me ask you this question. You talked a little bit about the Live to Thrive program, and I kind of briefly talked about it. Yeah, we had a little bit of impact on the weight loss, and now you signed up for. We're just concentrating just on the. I don't even like saying weight loss. Let's say transformation journey,
Yes.
body transformation journey. Can you maybe just tell the listeners you briefly talked about the mindset piece?
Hmm.
How important is that mindset piece in discovering your purpose through a transformation
Yeah.
stage? Go ahead.
I don't think I realized how important it was, to be honest, until I completed your program. I thought my purpose was to honestly, whenever anyone asked me what my purpose was, it was to be a good teacher, to be a great daughter. It was always to be somebody better for somebody else. So I wanted to be a good daughter for my parents. I want to be a good aunt for my nephew. I want to be a great teacher for my students. I want to be a good coworker to my coworkers. But I was always putting other people first. I didn't want to be a better person for myself, to serve myself. I and honestly, when we started the program, it was like, I want to be a good girlfriend because I was now in like a serious relationship and it was new to me. But now I know that in order to be my best self, like I have to love myself. I have to want to do better for myself. I want to be my best version of myself for myself. And all those other things are going to come. I'll be a good teacher. I'll be an amazing girlfriend. I'll be a great parent. I'll be a great friend. But unless I'm happy and I'm feeling happy in my own skin and my own body and I'm truly living for myself, then it doesn't, I'm just living for other people and I'm constantly putting other people first and I'm not setting those boundaries. And that takes a toll. And you don't realize it until you start to dig deep or you ask the questions that you ask or you do the activities that you do and you start to realize, wow, did I do anything for myself today or was it for
Mhm.
everybody else? Yes, I went to the gym. I would tell you for the longest time, the only thing I would ever have done for myself was I was strict and firm in the boundaries of, nope, I'm not going out to dinner with you. I'm going to the gym. Like that is my me time. That is when I am decompressing time. Other than that, I don't know if I ever, and I would eat healthy. Those two things were always the only things I was doing for myself. I was never, I would say yes, even if I didn't want to do something because I wouldn't want to upset you. I wouldn't want to inconvenience you, but yet I'm inconveniencing myself. So,
It's so beautiful, Crystal, just to sit and listen to everything you say because you're the product of the program, and
yeah,
it's just a beautiful thing. And you stuck with it. It wasn't easy. It
no.
wasn't but you stuck with it, and kudos to you. I want to ask you this question because we get a lot of this, and I see this a lot in the education system, and I see teachers helping everyone but
Themselves.
themselves,
Hmm. Yep.
drinking the Coke,
Yep.
running to the fast food. So, as an educator, how do you balance your professional responsibilities
Hmm.
with your commitment to maintaining that healthy lifestyle now that you are on?
It hasn't been easy. And I thought about it the other day. I used to be the person, except like last year, I would order out like a Jimmy John's or a Panera Bread. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to treat myself today. I have packed my lunch and ate my lunch every single day this year. I have not ordered anything. I might have had a Starbucks delivered, when you're having, but like ordered food, or if they set up, sometimes they'll set up lunches. No, I have stuck to eating what I have brought to work every single day. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing. Like for me, that's a huge win because I used to do that. But this is I think it's my 8th year of teaching. I lose track in there. But I'm not gonna lie, my first couple years, I was all about the job. I would be there by like 6:30. I would stay. I would leave. I was really great about making sure I was gone by like 4 at the latest so I could go to the gym because the gym was I was a little I don't know if too dedicated is the word, but I was very like, nope, I'm going to the gym. I can't do that. Or um and then I come home and I work. I am very much now, what do I need to do in your program? I don't mean to keep. Um, you talk about, you set like, what are the things that need to get done, like your top priorities, and what are the things that need to wait? And if I can get those top priorities done for the day, Everything else can wait, and I will get it done. I also think being a teacher helps that I am a planner. So I also know, like, okay, I have this big eval report due, and I know when my IEP is, and I know when I have to be testing, so I can plan it out. But I am a firm believer in you have to have a work life balance and you have to have boundaries. So if I need to work at home, 110%, I will do it if I have to work from home. But otherwise, when I leave work, I leave work. Like work stays at work. And that is hard to do sometimes. And some days I do need to come home and I do need to talk to my boyfriend and decompress about what happened. But then that's it. We move on. If I have a huge I don't ever really feel like I have huge things because I am a planner. I have copies made. I'm ready. I know what I'm doing each and every day. I know if I need to progress monitor some kids, like I'm ready for that. If not, I'll have a list on my desk of like copies I need to make in the morning. So I'm just a planner, and I think that's huge because bringing work home is I I I struggled with that for a long time, and now I make sure I have those boundaries so that I can be my best self. Like, yes, I'm a teacher, but I'm also a daughter, a friend, a dog mom, a girlfriend, and I deserve to do things that I want to do. And I shouldn't have to put my work first. And you know as well as I do, all the times we work from home, like I'm not getting paid overtime for that. I'm just doing it because I'm doing it to help myself, but I've learned how to balance it and do it at work now.
And then what's interesting is that you're contracted.
Yep.
You have contracted hours,
Yep.
and those are the hours you are allocated to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I share this a lot. But what if, God forbid, your day ends tomorrow? Like, what if our
Yeah.
day ends tomorrow? How quickly would they have our job replaced? So it's a matter of really reframing things, and I really like that you are taking note of that. Two words that you mentioned, and it's part of my Live to Thrive program that you do a great job of, is that time management piece. And
Mm-hmm.
you had talked about it. You had talked about simply getting the big priorities, the big chunks done first.
Yes.
How much of a change has that been since you've done that?
Oh, it's huge. If I'm feeling overwhelmed or I have a lot going on, because we all know it's coming to the end of the year, there's testing, there's all these things. I sit down and I'll write a list of everything that I know needs to get done, and then I break it down. Well, what needs to get done in like today? What needs to get done in this week? What needs to get done in the next month? What are the things that need to get done, but they don't need to get done till like the end of May? Like push those off and don't even worry about them, but they're there for me. And it has helped me tremendously. And also your program helped me with setting boundaries. And you never realize how important setting boundaries are in everything that you do until you really sit down and you're like, yeah, I don't have boundaries. I don't like, and I used to think to be a good teacher meant I'm at home and I'm working and I'm getting prepared. It, I'm not everyone might agree with me, but I'm a great teacher. I show up for my kids. I want what's best for them. I'm going to help them any way I can. They don't know if I came home and I worked on that last night. They don't know if I was there at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're just there because they have to be at school, but they know like they're happy to be there. They're happy to see me. And when I ask them to do something, they're not going to know if I was up till midnight working on it or I did it over the weekend or anything like that. They're going to do it because I'm asking them to do it and I'm going to help them do it. But that doesn't make me a worse teacher than somebody who works for hours at home. But that doesn't make them a better teacher than me. And that took me a while to understand.
Well, and the thing is, though, too, how can you effectively be a good educator when you're pouring from a glass that's empty?
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you weren't the only teacher that I've had in my Live to Thrive program. I had multiple teachers because teachers are saints to begin with, because all they do is they give.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to take care of themselves. And you are a product. You were a product of that. And now look where you're at. I want to transition a little bit into. So you lost all this significant, just transformative. You technically really are a brand new person.
Yes.
Like there's no doubt about it. Like how do you stay motivated? Like a lot of people are like, motivation. What is motivation? Like
Yeah.
what is it? Motivation? Is it discipline on your fitness journey? like because you achieved such great length. Like you're a brand new person.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I
What kept you going? What was it?
I think at first, being almost 400 pounds, I lost weight fast. It came off fast because there was a lot of weight to lose. So that kept me going. And I told my therapist that going on a weight loss journey is it's the best, but it's the hardest thing you're ever going to do because your body's changing. And I'm not going to lie, there are days where I still see myself as that 400-pound person. So you have to switch your mind into that's not who you are anymore. And we're all going to have bad days. But this journey, you think, I'm going to go on this weight loss journey and it's just going to be a constant, like all these highs. No, there's ebbs and flows. You're going to have times where you think you're busting your butt at the gym and you're putting all that in and you're eating, and all of a sudden you gain weight. But really, I didn't know what muscle was. So really, I was gaining weight because I was gaining muscle. So there's things that mess with you. And it wasn't until I did your program that honestly, when I stepped on the scale one time and the weight was up, I was like, it's okay. It's a number. It's okay. I'm gaining mass. I know my body's changing because I can see it in the pictures. There's so many reasons why my weight could be up and tomorrow it could be down. But I really feel that it's just discipline and it's me wanting to be the best version of myself and I have these goals. And if I sit on the couch and watch Netflix, I'm not going to meet those goals. If I sit at home and just feel sorry for myself, well, I'm really not going to meet my goals that way. So I also told my therapist, I feel everybody can benefit from therapy. There are some people who are like, oh, people go to therapy because there's something really wrong with them. Oh, no. I did go to therapy for that reason. I needed help setting boundaries. I didn't know you at the time. I didn't know of your program. I needed help setting boundaries. I needed somebody who didn't know me and was going to tell me the honest truth without worrying about like hurting my feelings. And that's what I needed at the time. And she made the point, and I totally agreed with her, that when you're on a weight loss journey, you hit a goal, and now the goalposts just move. So, but you should celebrate hitting that goal. But instead, I'd be like, nope, now I gotta move on to this one. Where now I celebrate the things that I do. And I'm not gonna lie, this past Saturday, I looked at John, my boyfriend, and I was like, I am sore, I'm tired, and I don't want to work out. And he literally said to me, is that what your best self would want you to do right now? Like, should you maybe just go to the gym and just walk or just do some sort of a movement? And the hardest part, I think, was putting on the clothes and getting to the gym because once I got to the gym, I had one of the best workouts I had in a while. And I feel like I was just trying to talk myself out of it. I was making excuses. You're sore. You're not going to do it. What are you going to get out of going to the gym? You're tired. Just go back and sleep a little bit longer. You just don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. But once I got there, that was the best workout I've ever had. I mean, I did like 200, what are those, MEPs or whatever. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
dang, look at me go. And it was great. And I felt so much better after. So I know how I feel after a workout, and that's what keeps me going. And I've just always been a very like hardworking person, and this weight loss goal, I'm not going to reach my goals if I don't put in the work. So I have no one else to blame but myself at the end of the day. So just that's what keeps me going. Is I also want to be the best version of myself. I was like, I want to be around for my kids. I want to be around for my nieces and nephews. I don't want to be out of weight climbing up a flight of stairs.
Yeah. I gathered what's really nice is I heard, and for our listeners that are out there, ultimately, one of the part of the program is becoming the best version of your ideal self. And we talk about that in the Live the Thrive program. But I want to talk about something that I heard you say that I thought was absolutely remarkable is having an accountability partner,
Yes.
right? And your
Yep.
boyfriend went through the same thing, and we had an entire podcast about him. But what I was going to say is how valuable is an
Oh,
accountability partner? Talk a little bit about that.
it's the best thing. And I use my trainers and my personal training sessions as my accountability. If I'm paying that money, I'm showing up to do my session and I'm going to put in the work to do it because I want to get out what I was doing. And it was someone who would listen to me if I was having a bad day. It was someone who could tell me, this is what you need to do. And now, like, now that my boyfriend has gone through your program, he can speak to why we're doing this. Like, is that your ideal self, or is that your self-doubt talking? Are you letting those negative thoughts win? Are you just letting it just be because you don't want to do it, or what is it? And honestly, in August, the trainer that I had for past the 7 years, who was by far one of the best trainers, his life was changing and personal training just wasn't what it was like. He just wasn't going to do it anymore. And I respected him for that. And I was devastated because I was making such good progress with him. And that is also when because there's ebbs and flows, I gained like 20 pounds back because I didn't have that accountability. I know what to do. I can go to the gym and put myself through a great workout, but I didn't have someone checking in to be like, how was your workout today? Did you get your workout done? And that's where accountability for me is huge, whether it's my boyfriend, whether it's you, whether it's a personal trainer, whether it's your friends that you go to the gym together. So you set the dates. Like, it's always like, it's a date that I don't want to break with myself. And I hold myself accountable. And in the mornings at first, when my alarm would go off, because now I'm a huge workout morning person, so my alarm goes off at 4:50, and there are a couple of times where I was like, I'm just gonna sleep in. And John's not really awake at that time, and he would say, is that really what you want to do? Just get up and go. And then you told me to do the 3-2-1. And I went and I had a great workout and I felt better about it. So just having that person to kind of, I don't want to say put you in your place, but kind of check you on your BS. Like, okay. And if someone's not there to do that, of Saturday morning, if John wouldn't have been here or I wouldn't have had somebody, I know for a fact, I just would have been like, I'll go for a long walk and call that my workout. Walking's a great workout, but that's not like, I felt so much better after that workout. And I was like, see, like I just needed to get there. That's the hardest part sometimes, is getting there.
Yep, that is. And half the battle is just getting there. And especially on those days when you don't want to is when you need it the most.
Yes.
Like, that is truly when you need it the most. And I'm glad you echoed that. Hey, I want to ask you this question because you and I had briefly talked about this, but what do you say to all the haters that are like, oh, why do you got to post your workouts on social media? Why do you got to do this? You're making all of us look bad. What do you say to them? I mean, I have my own thing, but this is about you today. I want you to share. What do you say to those individuals that are like maybe hating or poking, or like, why do you got to make us look bad? What do you say to them?
Well, first I tell them I'm doing it to hold myself accountable. And if that's what it takes for me to be accountable, you don't have to look at the story. You don't have to look at the post. Keep scrolling. In fact, unfriend me if you want. Like, it's not going to upset me, for one. And for two, I said something to John about it. I was like, someone said, like, why are you always posting? And I don't know if they meant it in like the negative way, but that's how I took it. Like, I was making us look bad. And he's like, Crystal, for all you know, you're inspiring somebody out there. Like, seeing your workouts in the morning gets them to go to the gym later at night, or seeing your story maybe inspires one person to be like, if she could do it, then I can do it. I'm just going to start by walking and I'm going to get there. So, and then I just remembered, in a lot of podcasts and in the therapy that I want and the self-help books that I want, it always says you never know who you're inspiring. So just keep doing what you're doing, and it's going to inspire someone. So I'm going to keep posting my workouts. I'm not posting it to make you feel bad. And if that's what you think, that's not on me. That's on you. I'm doing it because I'm trying to hold myself accountable, and that's how I'm doing it. And maybe I am inspiring somebody. And that's what I want. And honestly, when I started on this journey, I wanted to look a certain way. And I've learned that it's so much more than that now. I wanted to be that like really skinny girl who could wear the crop tops and, like all those things. And I've learned it's so much more than that. So if my story now helps one person, great, so be it. And I will keep posting my workouts. And if one person reaches out to me and says, can you help me? I'll do what I can. I remind everyone, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a personal trainer. I will tell you what worked for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. but just to see. And if posting that helped one person that day, great. And if no one doesn't help anyone, I'm still going to keep doing it because I'm doing it for myself and I come first to be the best
Right.
version of
Yep.
myself.
Yep. We have to. And those of you that really are like, wow, did she just say I come first? Yep. We all need to.
Yep.
Because if we are not first, we cannot be good for anybody else.
Yeah.
Cannot be a good father, you cannot be a good mother, you cannot be a
No.
good teacher, you cannot be a good significant other. So there's that portion of called self. It's called self-love and
It's
self-care.
taking care of like your mental health as well. And I was 100% the teacher when I was feeling burnt out or I was not having my best day. I would still go to work, and at the end of the day, sometimes it'd be like, "Wow, you snapped at things you shouldn't have snapped." I will take a mental health day now, and I'm not afraid to admit that because it makes me a better teacher, a better coworker, a better person when I come back the next day and I had the time to just rejuvenate or relax. And it doesn't make me a bad teacher. I'll make those sub plans. I'm not, like, I'm taking care of myself because I come first, and I can't help my students become their best versions of themselves if I'm not my best version of myself.
Yeah, that's beautifully said, and I love that you talk about that because we have echoed that in our program. So would you say throughout your fitness journey and your weight loss journey, um, what was one of the biggest things that other people noticed about you? If you could say that and maybe give like people were like, oh wow, you look great, or
Yeah, I
what
would
yeah.
definitely say at first it was, wow, Crystal, you look amazing. And I don't have a picture of what I can share one with you, but like being 400 pounds, like losing the weight, like when I hit the 100 pounds loss mark, that was huge. I was so pumped. I was so excited. It took me so long. And then you slowly, then it takes a lot more work, or your body just adapts to losing that weight. So then you're not losing weight as fast. And I would say the second thing people would say was, they're like, "You look younger now than you did when you were heavier." They're like, "It looks like you like age like reverse. Like I look like I was 37 then, and I look like, well, not that I'm 20, but like they would just say like, 'Wow, you don't look that age.'" And people still say that to me, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna lie about being 37. I would be like, yeah, that's right, I'm 27." But those would be the biggest two things. And now, um, other people have said, they're like, you just seem different, like you seem lighter or you seem like happier. And that's thanks to the mindset transformation. And I did not, honestly, when I started your Live to Thrive program, I went full on to have you be like the trainer and help me lose weight and reach a goal. And there was a shift, and it just became about my mindset. It was the best thing that I've ever done. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's not a price to put on my health and my fitness journey, and I would pay it all over again and then some. And I'm still paying you because it's so, like it's worth it. It's worth it to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. My model for anybody that's listening out there, it's kind of like the Apple business model, and that's kind of what I've emulated. Is that if you're part of my Live to Thrive program, you're going to use my programs. It's kind of like this. Are you an Apple person? You're an Apple person, right? I
Yes.
think,
Yep.
yeah.
Got my
So
Apple Watch on. Like, yes.
once you buy an Apple product,
You
you
don't go back.
stay. Yeah, you just don't go back, and that's similar to my Live to Thrive program. So let me ask you this: how is your perception now, or perspective, or what? How is your perspective on health, fitness, and self care really evolved throughout your transformation journey?
Well, honestly, I said I never put myself first. And I think there was two extremes to me. There was the me who was so dedicated that at one point I was turning down friends to go out because I'm like, I can't go out to eat. I can't drink what they're drinking. I have to eat what I'm eating. I can't do things because I have to work out. Where I was just so focused on that I think I lost focus of really making those other connections, the friends connections, the family connections, just being social. where now I have a good balance where I would rather wake up at 4:50 in the morning and go to the gym. And let's be real, this morning I was tired. I was yawning at the gym, but I still got up and I still went and I felt so much better after. And you feel accomplished. And I think I sent you something that says like exercising in the morning is like, I don't remember what it said, but it's a tough decision to get there and do it. And now I do that, and I've learned boundaries with food, which sounds not stupid, but you need to have those boundaries with food where I know that all food has nutritional value. Some of it's better than others, but I can still, we went to the Luke Combs concert and I had a drink there and I had some fries and I didn't feel bad about it. Where the old me before, like, would have been like, I need to go to the gym on Sunday and I need to do an extra 45 minutes of cardio to burn that off. Well, you can't, what is it? You can't outwork the food that, or however they say that. Like, I know that now. So you just start over. So I started over yesterday. I got my water in. I took my dog for a 4 mile walk. I just restarted, and I'm not going to beat myself up over it because that's not going to change anything. So you just learn to make those choices, and then you move on and you find a way to move past it and keep going on the journey that you're on.
Yeah, and you have to enjoy life, right? Like
Yes.
enjoy life, and a concert is enjoying life, being around, your significant other, your friends, whatever it might
Yes.
be. But what about this? Think about this thought process for a second of like you said, okay, I cannot go out to eat. Well, what if you
Mhm.
did go out to eat? Or what if I bring
Oh,
my own food?
yeah.
You bring whatever you want. We can hang out in this location. I'll bring what I need to drink. We can still hang out. You see how you change the parameters
Yes.
there? Why don't I have
Yes.
to go to Denny's or this place when you know that the food there is shit to begin
Mhm.
with, but you're on this journey? Well, why? You know what I mean? What do you think
Yeah.
about that thought
Oh,
process?
I 100% am there now. At that time, I wasn't there,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
love my friends and I love my support system, but they weren't on the same journey. So to them, they were like, "Well, what do you mean? It's just a meal." But to me, it was more than that. And I beat myself up for it. And I would do those extra workouts. I would make sure
Mhm.
I was the person when I started, and for the longest time, that I was like, I have to burn X amount of calories in order for it to be a good workout. I have to work out for at least 90 minutes and I have to be drenched in my own sweat. And it has to be heavy weights. Your current program that I'm doing, the body weight only day, kicks my ass more than any, like, seriously, because I'm just like, I feel dead and I didn't touch a single weight and I still got a good workout.
And that's the important piece is just doing things. We just, if you want to talk a little bit about that. So Crystal is
Yes.
now on my Live to Be Fit program, which is my body portion. So
Yes.
she's on a 6 month course with that, and we include a hit workout. We include heavy lifting in that workout. We also do include a body workout, which she just had talked about. And you're right, and I do those, and those workouts are incredible, and you'd be surprised as far as what. But a variety is really good. A variety,
Yes.
a variety is really good.
And I
So
used to
let
be
me.
the person that was like, "Oh, you're working out at home? That's not a good workout." Oh no, I can do that body weight only workout here at my house if I wanted to, and it'd still be just as good of a workout. And it's amazing, like, just the transformation that I've had in thinking, not just the transformation I've had in your programming and your workouts are so different from what I had been doing. But that's a good thing because I think I was in the mindset that I had to do the workouts my trainer was writing for me, which they were tough and they took me a while. But I think I was overtraining because then I would go do
Hmm.
another 30 to 45 minutes of
Hmm.
cardio because I was like, that's how I got to burn these calories. And he
Yeah.
told me that. He's told me that. I remember having conversations with him. And at that point, I was so set and determined in, like, not a good way, that I had to keep doing it like that and I had to be at the gym for that long to hit my goal weight, that I was like, I didn't hear what he had to say. And looking back on it now, if he was here, I'd be like, Elliot, you were right. I should have listened to you because I was totally overtraining. And it was probably doing more harm than it was good. I wasn't taking rest days. I was at the gym all the time. And I know now that I did your workout this morning in 52 minutes. I was done and dusted. And I'm like, I couldn't have even thought about getting on an elliptical. Like I was good to go. That's all I needed.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, I was gonna ask you the time frame. Generally, what,
Hmm.
40 minutes to about 55 minutes, depending
Yep.
upon what areas you're doing, right?
Yeah, if I'm doing those lifting day ones, they take a little bit longer because there's a little bit longer rest in between, and then it's like today I did like the squats, so it's adding those weights or just different things like that. But under an hour tops, and I'm out of there, and it's a great workout, and yeah,
And those of you that are just catching this and listening to this and you're on that fitness train, you don't need to be in the gym for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
no,
I can give you an effective workout in 35 to 40 minutes. And I guarantee you'll burn anywhere from 400 to 500, maybe even up to 700 pounds, depending upon where you're at.
yeah,
Crystal, let me ask you this question. You're on this awesome journey, and I'm again thankful to be your coach. And she's not paying me any money. Well, she is paying me money to
yeah.
be my pro in my program, you guys. But she's a product of the fitness journey, and I just felt it just fit so well into what this podcast is all about. Can you share with anybody, our listeners out there, what are your future goals and
Yes.
aspirations in terms of health, fitness, mindset? Go.
I want to hit the 200 pounds lost mark. So, like I said, this journey has ebbs and flows. And I will admit that when I came to you with Live to Thrive, I'd been at the heaviest that I had been in a while from gaining like 25 to 30 pounds. And I know from my perspective, from being me, it was because I didn't have that accountability piece. Yes, I had my boyfriend, John, but he supports me in whatever I do. He would be like, "You want to go to the gym? Go to the gym." Like, he knew I was determined to do it, but now he's supporting me with how he's changed the way he's ate. He's gone through your program. So that's huge. To have somebody like that, that is huge. So I'm working towards the 200 pounds lost mark. I want to see the weight of 175 on the scale, and I want to maintain that. And I just want to be healthy and happy. And I'm working, and we do positive affirmations. I do positive self-talk, that what I see in the mirror, like, I'm proud of that person because I've worked so damn hard to get here. And I might not be where I thought I should be or where other people think I should be. Like, you've been on this for 14 years, or, like, whatever it is. But I've worked damn hard. And someone told me a statistic one time about the number of people who lose the amount of weight that I lost, and they usually gain it all back and then some. They're like, you are the slim 2% of those people who can stick to it still, and they haven't given up everything that was thrown at you, being like on diabetic medication, giving myself injections. I'm on none of it. I have done this all on my own, by putting in the hard work, by eating healthy, by listening to what the doctors had to say. I didn't need to have surgery. I didn't need to take a weight loss pill or do those like crazy crash diets or those cleanses or anything. Like, I did it by hard work, and I need to be damn proud of that, because there's not a lot of people who can say they've done it. And the people that have, they're going to know. They're going to be like, yeah, it's not easy. There are days where you want to give up, and there are days where you think, what is it worth it? I'm not getting where I want to. You don't see the progress because you see yourself every day.
That's it. That's exactly it. And sometimes, I had a recent interview with another person that came on. She's a trainer and she's a fitness competitor, and she's like,
The
"It
one from
sucks."
Australia?
No, not her. The
Oh.
one that trained. This is a new one. It drops on
Oh, okay.
Wednesday,
Okay.
and she's just like, it just sucks. Sometimes you got to embrace the suck
Mm-hmm.
to get through, because you look at the end result and it's going to be there. And
Yeah.
so let me ask you this question. We didn't talk about this, but so you had a doctor that said you're
Yeah.
never going to lose this weight. You're going to have this gastric bypass surgery. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to have to put injections. And you're going to be with big pharma the entire life. You recently had an opportunity. Well, you recently had
Yeah.
So you're working out at the gym,
Yep. And
and
I
that
was,
doctor so happens to be in the same
yep,
gym
right
that
next
you
to
are.
me.
Go ahead and tell everybody that story.
So I was doing one of, like, I swear Mike isn't like feeding me or paying me to talk about it. Like, I legit am like a true product of what his program can do. So I was doing one of your workouts. It was one of those like it was the kettle. I specifically remember it was the kettlebell only, 5 moves as fast as you can. And I'm a competitive person, so I was like, I need to beat my time from last week. So I am busting my ass, and I know I am. I am drenched in my own sweat, and he was on a mat next to me doing some stretches, and I got up, and I looking back on it, he tried to talk to me, but I was like in the middle of a set, so I was like, dude, I'm working here. Like, let me. I don't want to stop. I'm timing myself. Like, I have to keep going. So he saw that I was like heavily breathing, and he came over and he complimented me. He said, "You are working so hard, keep it up." And to him, he complimented a random person in the gym. He doesn't remember me. I can guarantee, like, he didn't use my name. So he thought he was complimenting a random person. When really in my head, I just wanted to be like, if you only knew I am the person that you said you're not going to lose that weight. You should probably have gastric bypass surgery to do it. But really, I did it on my own now. And I saw him again the next day. And again, he's just like, keep up the good work, because he saw me like 2 days in a row. And to him, he's complimenting somebody at the gym who's working hard. And he's like, I probably just made her day. Like, no, you made more than my day. Like that from him, that was like the best compliment to get. And I could have took that, like, we've talked, and I
Yep, we
could have
have.
took that opportunity to have told him who he was. I just didn't feel it was the right time or place. And again, I was timing myself, so I was like, I gotta get back. I'm trying to beat my time. But I did do what you told me, and I do have a letter. And when I go
Oh,
to
okay.
that gym, I'm a member of multiple gyms around here. It just depends the days or whatever. And when I go to that gym, I have it. And when the time is right, I will give him that note, and I will tell him everything that I've accomplished without gastric bypass surgery. And I will remind him, I remember the day, just because it's one of those things you're not going to forget. I remember the day, I remember the time, and I've included that in there, and I will just hand that to him, and I will walk away. That wasn't the right time or place for me. And I wasn't sure I was ready for it, but I will get there, because I know I don't feel like a weight lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah, and that's so beautifully said. And it kind of when it goes into my next question is what if someone's on that train and they are depressed, they're sad, they
Oh,
can't get themselves out of the couch, they're that one that are the overusers of McDonald's and going through the drive-through and doing those things. And if you had that opportunity or that elevator speech, what would you say to those people? And not only say to them, but tell them how, in comparison to how where
oh,
you went to where
yeah.
you are now, and even how you feel now versus then.
I would say I've been there. I've literally been you. I've been in your shoes, and I know how hard it is, and I know how daunting it is. I know that walking up a flight of steps, you will avoid at all costs. You will find that elevator, you will find that escalator. But it is honestly taking that first step, literally and figuratively. That's all you need to do. Even if it's taking a 10-minute walk around your block, that's going to be more activity than you might have done in a while. That's where you need to start. You need to start small. And looking back on it now, you talk about stacking wins. That's all you need to do. You need to do one thing every day that you're going to keep stacking those wins. That before you know it, you're going to be like, I've lost 20 pounds. And it doesn't even need to, if the gym is intimidating, because listen, I was scared, can I swear, shitless to go to the gym when I was that overweight person, because you get those looks from people. People are looking at you like, what are you doing here? And it is scary and it is intimidating, but you belong there. You deserve to take up space in that gym to do what you need to do for yourself. So you show up, whether they look at you, whether they say something to you, you show up and you do what you need to do. And if it's not, then you start by taking a walk. Take a 10-minute walk. The next day, take an 11. Just keep building those wins. And before you know it, you're going to be the person in the gym who people come up to you and say, wow, you're strong for a girl. And you say back to them, it doesn't matter that I'm a girl. I'm just strong, but thank you. Because that's a big pet peeve of mine. When people see me doing something and they're like, wow, you're strong for a girl. I always say thanks. And I go, it doesn't matter that I'm a girl. I'm just strong, but thank you. And you keep showing up because I promise you it is worth it. This journey has been the best and the hardest journey I've ever been on in my life. There are ups, there are downs, there are those ebbs and flows, and there are going to be days when you're like, is it even worth it anymore? Am I going to get there? And trust me, it is, because I feel so much better. I can do, like today, my student was playing tag with me after school while we were waiting for his parent. And I knew we were doing this podcast, and I just thought about if I was still that like overweight person, that would have never happened. I would have never played tag with my student because I was legit running from him because he's fast. He's a fast little fourth grader. And I was like running from him, and I wasn't out of breath doing it. And before you know it, it's going to be those things. You're going to be on the ground playing with your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your grandkids, however you are. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how long you are. Just start. Just start by taking a walk. Take that first step and start by joining a gym. And remember, you belong and you deserve to take space in that gym. Whether anybody thinks not, no, you belong there because it's your story, it's your process, and that's your first step. So you got to do it, and it's worth it. I promise you, it's worth it.
That's so beautifully said. And I just want to tell anybody that does feel that intimidation factor out there, remember your fee that comes out of your checking book or checking account each month is the same as the other person that's in that gym.
100%.
And everybody else. So you own that gym just as much as anybody else.
Yep. It doesn't matter if you're 400 pounds, if you're 200 pounds, if you're fit and you have muscles. If you're not fit and you have muscles, you belong there. It doesn't matter if you're using those 2-pound weights because that's burning your muscles and that person's using the 70-pound weights. It doesn't matter. You show up for yourself because you're helping become the best version of yourself, which I didn't know at the time, but now I do. That's what you're doing. And you're stacking those wins.
I get these great plugs, you guys, without even telling her. She just did the program, and look what happens. Hey, so as we're wrapping up here today, Crystal, you're an avid listener of Framing New Heights.
Yes.
And you listen to a lot, and you've gained a lot of knowledge through, we're close to 80 episodes now. And I just want to ask you this question before I have you tell everybody your credentials and how people can get a hold of you if they have any questions about your journey or anything like that. But lastly, what does Framing New Heights mean to you personally, or even Live to Thrive?
Yeah.
And how does it relate to your journey now?
Well, Framing New Heights, at first I was like, oh, what a great podcast name. But the more I listen to it, it's kind of like you're framing new, not versions of yourself, but just new levels for you to get to. You're framing the different heights that you're going to. And Live to Thrive is you are literally living to be your best self. So you want to do the things like put yourself first because you do come first. If you don't want to do something, tell them no. And don't say sorry because that was a huge thing for me too. You don't have to apologize. If you don't want to do it, just say, I can't. You don't need to give a reason. Like, just say, I can't. Not sorry, I can't. Not I'm so sorry, I want to. Nope, I can't. Just and move on from it. And when you learn to set those boundaries and you learn to be the best version of yourself and what that looks like, and maybe it changes. And that's a good thing if it changes because you reach the one version, now go to the next version. Just keep doing what you need to do to be your best self because if you're pouring from an empty cup, you are not helping anybody else. You're not, and I heard a quote the other day that's like, you are a version of the people you spend the most time with. So spend the most time with people who want the same things as you do. So like have an accountability person, have that support system because it's crucial. It's huge. And honestly, I've always had a coach, and the times that I haven't had a coach were the times where I know what to do at the gym. I just needed someone to check on me and be like, did you do it? How was your workout? Like, give me something to do, not having to think about it. Or whether it's a significant other, whether it's a parent, whether it's someone that you see all the time at the gym, just to check in with them, like have that person and just just do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. Do it for you because you want to be a better person. You want to live a healthy life. You want to set those boundaries and you want to be your best version.
That's well said. So, for those of you that want to catch that episode, there's an entire episode on Framing New Heights talking about the overuse of the word sorry. You could find that. And then the other piece, too, that I also wanted to mention, too, Crystal, is first of all, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, yes.
And what is tell anybody what's your Facebook handle? What's your
Yes.
IG handle? And I had another thing I was going to say too, and I lost it. But I'll maybe come back after you say that. But give everybody your handle
Yes.
in any way that you want them to get a hold of you if they want to message you.
So, as a teacher, all my social media is like you have to request to be my friend, which I will accept I just don't want students or parents finding me all the time. But I am Crystal Joe on Facebook. There's a picture of me and my boyfriend because I think there's other Crystal Joes on there. I don't know what my Snapchat name is. And on Instagram, if you type in Crystal Wise or Crystal Joe, I pop up as well. But you can always send me an email. It's crystaljwise@gmail.com. And I would love it if there's even one person listening who says they're struggling and they just need some help. Like, let me be that accountability person for you by saying, did you work out today? What did you eat? How did you do? Because I know how huge it is for me. And to be honest, I've always said that I just want to inspire one person. And multiple people have told me you inspire me, but just to truly know that you've helped one person who can help another person, because then it becomes a domino effect, and that's a beautiful thing.
Well said, and you heard it all here. Crystal Wise's story, you guys, on Framing New Heights. Remember, we're here to empower, uplift, change your mindset to Framing New Heights. If you like this podcast, please send it to 5 other friends. Give us a 5-star review. And Crystal, as always, you listen to the podcast and you get a chance to do it. And 1% better in mind, body, and soul. And always
stay flex.